The Trojans are looking to bounce back after a tough loss to South Alabama and look to get back on a winning track. Troy will play UL Lafayette under the lights for the first time at 7 p.m. The last time the Trojans took on the Raging Cajuns ended in a tie in overtime. However, UL Lafayette is 1-3 this season away from home, and whereas Troy is undefeated at home. The Trojans will then turn around to play ULM on Sunday at home as well. The Trojans won in their last meeting with the Warhawks with a score of 1-0. This season, ULM is 4-2 away from home going into the match against Troy. Head coach Jason Hamilton says that although it will be a tough game, the Trojans are excited to have their first game under the lights.
We play University of Lafayette. It should be a good game. Again, a team that's always a tough game. They like to play, they like to keep the ball. So we're excited to get back out there. We've had a little bit of a break here. First game under the lights. It's going to be a great atmosphere. So I know we're pretty excited about it, and we're hungry for that first conference win.
The Trojans will have their first game in the school history over the weekend.
The volleyball team is back on the road this weekend after competing at home and are looking to improve on their conference record. The Trojans head to Statesboro, Georgia to compete against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern is currently 1-4 in conference play, the same as Troy right now. The overall record for Georgia Southern is 1-13, while Troy has an overall record of 9-8. The two teams met earlier this year in Troy, where Troy fell 3-1. Troy then heads to Boone, North Carolina, where they will compete against Appalachian State. The Mountaineers are currently 3-2 in conference play, while they have an overall record of 13-2. Troy met Appalachian State earlier this season in Troy also and fell 3-2. But with the two games coming up, head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick feels that his team is better prepared this time around.
We played them already. We beat Georgia Southern in 4 here to open up the conference season. We lost to App State here in 5 after being down 2-0. We came back to push it to a 5th game. So they're both very quality opponents, and we need to make sure that we're ready on our side of the net to kind of combat what they do against us. And I think we're a little bit better than we were when we played them 2.5 weeks ago, and it just comes down to us making sure that we're taking care of the ball on our side.
The volleyball team is currently 1-4 in conference play this season.
The men's tennis team is coming off the St. Francis Health System ITA Men's All-American Championships and are gearing up for their second tournament for the individual play this season. The team will compete in the C.L. Varner Memorial Invitational in Winter Park, Florida. Head coach Scott Kidd says that he is looking forward to seeing the players improve against elite players in the tournament.
There will be some good schools there. Florida Gulf Coast, Central Florida, a lot of the Division I schools in Florida will be there. So it'll be interesting. I'm carrying a couple of different boys that didn't go to the All-American, so it'll be me as a coach gets eyes to see how we're going to do and compete, and hopefully with the players who went to All-Americans going to this, I'll see some improvement, because typically more matches you play, the more experience you get, the better they continue to play, so I'm excited.
The Trojans will play Thursday through Sunday for the tournament.
The cross-country team is coming off a restful weekend after not competing this past weekend. The Trojans are preparing to head to Jacksonville State University to compete this weekend in the JSU Foothills Invitational. This will be the first time for the Trojans to compete at Jacksonville State. The cross-country team's last event was the Mountain Dew Gator Cross Country Invitational, where the men finished in 8th and the women finished in 11th. And head coach Elliott Blount said this upcoming tournament can be beneficial for the rest of the season.
I mean, if we can get some runners out of here that'll pop up and do some good things, then we'll do some good things at conference. So this meet, even though the top runners aren't running again, it's going to be something that shows us where we're at as a team.
This is the cross-country team's 4th meet of the season. And every week we'll be taking a look at our former Trojan football players and how they are doing.
Jacob Harrison gives us a look at this week's Trojan in the pros.
Thanks, guys. DeMarcus Ware and the Denver Broncos were on their bye week last Sunday, following a disappointing overtime loss to the Seattle Seahawks. Ware and the Broncos will travel to Arizona this Sunday to take on the undefeated Cardinals. Ozzie Umenyiora and the Atlanta Falcons defense continue to struggle following a 41-28 loss to the Minnesota Vikings, despite the Vikings starting a new rookie quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater and playing without Adrian Peterson for the second straight game. Umenyiora had 2 tackles, while Jonathan Massaquoi had 1. Atlanta will take on a revived New York Giants offense this Sunday. Ladis McKelvin has continued his stellar play for the Buffalo Bills despite the team's recent struggles. McKelvin racked up 3 tackles and picked off Houston Texans quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, bringing his total takeaways on the season to 3. The Bills lost to the Texans 23-16. And in that same game, Albert Mack failed to register any stats in his second straight game for the Houston Texans. And all the same, DeJuan Harris did not register any offensive stats in the Green Bay Packers' second half thrashing of the Chicago Bears, though Harrison did return one kickoff for 20 yards. The Packers went on to win 38-17. Brendan Trawick racked up 2 tackles in the Baltimore Ravens' 38-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers, and in that same game, Mario Addison was denied any stats by the Baltimore Ravens offense. Addison had been on a tear filling in for Greg Hardy with 3.5 sacks over just 2 games. And wrapping things up with Steve McClendon, the Pittsburgh Steelers nose tackle registered 3 tackles in the Steelers' shocking 27-24 loss to the winless Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that was a look at the Trojans and the pros. I'm Jacob Harrison. Thank you for joining me.
That's all the time we have for Trojan Sports Now. Check us out online at trojanvision.troy.edu to catch anything you missed.
For Clay Yeager, I'm Amy Austin. Thanks for watching, and as always, go
Trojans!
Trojans!
Trojan Sports Now.